100% Hard AF Seltzer is now live in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, and enter your city or zip to find the closest location nearest you.
Oh, I like that angle.
That's unfortunate. Time to take the leg.
Welcome to Drinkin, Bro. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros, kids. It's that old Wednesday show that always gets super weird around here. Cheers. I'm going to crack open a Hard AF Seltzer. We're having a heat wave down here on this side of the country, and it's 93 degrees today. It's 108 in Phoenix or something crazy, and it's wild. We are very blessed today to have Joe Rogan's best friend,
Not true.
Bill Thompson, on the show. Give him a round of applause.
Not true.
There it is. Look at that. Look at our young Bill. God, he's grown up. God,
Yeah.
you've grown up so big, and I didn't even recognize you when I came into the studio today.
Bullshit.
There's some people that I meet in this life with so much star power that I'm in awe. I feel like I could get sucked into their black hole.
Ooh.
I might become a pedophile. There's a lot of things that come with the star power that you now have, Bill. And I just wonder, how much has this changed your life in the last 24 hours?
I mean, it hasn't changed my life at all. It just dropped
Bill,
like an hour ago, but I don't.
Bill,
think it's
these are Taylor Swift answers. You
I'll be
fucking liar.
I'll be
dude.
forgotten in the annals of the Joe Rogan podcast.
In the anals?
In the anals and the
Okay.
annals.
All right.
Pretty
These are Taylor Swift answers right now. Is there a Hollywood publicist back there? Who did you hire for these answers, Bill?
Dan.
You're no longer the same person, and it hurts me inside.
He's
dude.
Bill's a lifelong member of the intelligence community. He's cagey by nature.
Okay.
I
mean,
just.
Cagey by nature,
You
not
have-
because I hate you?
You have to be.
No, I understand.
I'm
that.
also nutty by nature.
Yeah, same
Oh.
here. I got a tech in a banana clip, dude. Dan hates when rappers say the word clip. Hates
Because
it.
it's a magazine?
Yeah.
Well, nobody says banana magazine.
No, it's banana clip, dude.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice? It just sounds sexier in rap songs, doesn't it?
We say extended magazine, which doesn't sound. It doesn't.
It doesn't sound as
honestly.
sexy.
I mean, it's not as. Banana clip doesn't actually describe anything.
Not
It's
really.
the shape and the angle.
No, I know, but it's not a clip. So clip is a stripper clip. It's
When
like,
you say extended magazine, it makes me think of the New Yorker, and I don't like that at all. It's a fancy fucking thing.
Is that the first magazine you think of?
For an extended magazine, yes. It's the only magazine that I've ever read that felt like a book and a chore, where I was just like, oh, Christ.
I like that
I've
one.
read to read this bloviated bullshit.
What was that magazine for kids? Light something or other?
Oh, yeah, highlights. But here's the thing.
Highlights
we
is great.
only did 2 pages. The circle and the rake in the clouds and the squirrel in the trees. And then the other thing, there was a questionnaire, fun little thing in the first
Well, have
2
you
or 3
seen
pages.
Have you seen the Muslim version of Where's Waldo?
No,
It's
no.
Where's Muhammad, and you just kind of search the page for where the explosion is, and that's how you know.
Mohammed.
Oh, wait, we're on YouTube today. We'll probably get canceled.
Who cares anymore?
His
for
son was
YouTube?
concerned. He was saying that he could never come on a show like this because he would immediately get canceled. I'm like,
He's like, you're going to get canceled, Dad. You're doing a live show? And I was
You're
like,
not.
Be
You're
surprised.
fine, Bill. It's
Yeah.
us that are getting canceled, not you.
Well, like
you're
Dan
an
said.
upstanding member of the community. Also, you're best friends with Joe Rogan.
No,
you're
no.
good now, dude. You can do anything you want.
No.
Here's the wild thing for us. We've lived here 6 years now.
Yep.
He follows our Instagram, uses clips on his show for years. Never been invited. Neither of us. Ever been
couldn't tell
invited. It's a bizarre thing, man.
I never thought I would get invited on and never acted like I would. Never once talked to him about his podcast.
We haven't either.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
nothing.
I told Dan while we were recording our Citizen podcast, I got off my phone and put it down for like an hour and a half. I had over 100 text messages.
I'm sure.
After the podcast dropped.
Yep.
And people I haven't heard from in like 10 years.
How many of them?
It does change your life. He's the white Oprah, and I've said this a million times on this show.
How many of them were genitals, pictures of genitals?
I haven't gotten any. Well, I haven't looked yet. The day's young.
Dick pics?
I said genitals.
Oh, I'll blast you with a dick pic.
No,
later.
well,
I don't take pictures of my
I would
house.
expect you would.
I don't take
Just
pictures.
send
of my
what
house.
you got.
Yeah,
Like
dick pics.
If it's a dick, then send that.
Yeah.
If it's not, send.
We
what
all
you
know
got.
you grab at the fucking base, dude, and then extend it, squeeze.
No,
and
I'm just
extend.
saying
You're
if
never
you
gonna see the balls.
if you've got
Right.
if you're a muff, send the muff. If you're a dick, send the dick.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. There's no need to discriminate.
Sure.
Right.
But congratulations, dude, for you and your company, for
Thank you.
Spartan Forge and all that stuff. It's a huge deal. And obviously, we're kidding. You and I have been friends for
I didn't
years
mention
and
the,
years and years.
I didn't mention the app till the end. I had totally forgotten about it because I kind of deer in the headlights.
No way.
So he basically got to the
Missed
part
opportunity,
where he was
Bill.
like, "Hey, do you want to?"
On the 9th hour, you forgot to mention the app.
No, I finally did it at the very end. But who makes it to the end of the podcast?
I've made it through, and I love Rogan, by the way. I'm not shitting on at all. It's just so long. I don't have that type of commute. So
Yeah.
I've only made it through, I think, 3 total in my entire life.
I've made it through a few total, but I would imagine that I'm in the, if I like a guest, I'll listen to the whole thing.
So here's the thing. I can actually name them. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Kevin Hart was really fucking good. And I think the other one was Josh Brolin, actually.
I didn't give Ben Affleck his due. I always
None of us.
assumed-
Nobody ever does because he's such a dick. But
after listening to that podcast, I was more impressed with him than I thought I was going to be.
He knows every single ounce of filmmaking, that guy, all the way around.
Yeah.
Writing to producing to directing, he knows it all. He is a very, very smart man, especially in real life, too. But congratulations, and Spartan Forge, dude. How's it doing? We
well.
were last together at the inauguration.
Yes.
You threw an amazing party.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, thanks for coming.
And the open bar
He's
and whatnot.
he's been here in this room since then.
Have you?
Yes.
That was in January. Oh, shit.
That was January last year.
Last year. God damn it,
Yeah.
dude. We sit in a dark studio.
You were
all
here
day.
in what, September?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think September.
That's right. God damn. Doesn't seem like that long ago.
It all
to be
melts
honest with you.
together.
Yeah. It really does. And I just wanted to say, if I didn't say it on the last show, I'm really proud of you. That party was amazing, and there was so many famous people there and all that other shit.
Not your best friend, obviously.
Well, not Joe Rogan, but you had Jay Cutler there. I Marcus
GSP
Luttrell.
was my favorite one.
Yeah, fucking GSP legend, dude. Luttrell came up to me. We were chatting about Range 15. It was a ton of people there, and it was just cool to see.
Christian Craighead.
Because you've always been such a humble guy for your entire life that it's like, it's awesome to see good people succeed. I felt the same way about Josh Smith when we went to the Montana Knife Company party.
Yeah, Josh is
where
great.
It's just when good people succeed, like genuinely good people, you root for it. And if you don't root for your friends, I think you're just a piece of shit in this life.
Yeah. I mean, that party was a lot of fun. GSP is, all jokes aside, he has become a very good and close friend. And we talk all the time, and he's probably one of the best people. He's like up there as far as like just good dudes. He's the whole package. You never know how people are behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course. And I felt the same way when we met him as well. And hopefully, we grab him on the show one day. He travels a lot, and I was just like, hey, if I'm in town, he's great. But in all sincerity here, the one thing that I think sometimes we overlook on this show when we have our friends on is their actual life and career. So can you tell the audience how you got started, what you did in the military, and then what led you to Spartan Forge?
Yeah, I mean, how far back do you want me to go here?
Let's go to
I want to know if you cut your own umbilical cord.
And what position sexually your parents were in when you were conceived?
Oh, I don't know that. So, I was only there for the end part.
Yeah.
But
He's a
cowgirl?
patriot. He's a patriot. It was missionary.
Okay. All right, just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
So I grew up in North Dakota, small town, like not middle of nowhere. I don't like saying that because it sounds derogatory, but it kind of is the middle of nowhere. a small town called Cavalier, North Dakota, and was a horrible student and got thrown out of every class I was in. And
Why? Because you were talkative,
loud,
Yeah,
disruptive, not into learning, that type of thing. So anyway, military recruiter came by. I got a good look about how all the girls in the school were talking about him. Mm-hmm. I also knew I was never going to be a farmer. And in that community, you either are a farmer or you're someone who works in the service industry to support farmers. And I had none of that, and I wanted to get out of North Dakota, and the recruiter checked a few boxes for me. I actually joined to be a military policeman. Then I showed up and forgot my driver's license at like the MEPS station. And they needed, back then before cell phones, they needed like a copy of your driver's license to submit your packet to become a military policeman. Didn't have it. And I had already dumped my girlfriend and gotten rid of everything and said, like, I can't go back, so sign me up for another job that doesn't require a driver's license right now. So they put me into military intelligence and
Wow, dude, that fast?
yeah, well, they
As a civilian, we think of it as like some crazy background. These guys are at Harvard or MIT.
No, I had a high GT score, which is just like a measure of your general technical abilities, and that's kind of that's one of the discriminating factors, or the most discriminating factors, I would say, is the GT score. And
What was it? Do you remember?
yeah, 125 or something like that, or 120 or something.
Is that good, Dan?
I don't remember the distribution.
I mean, 110 qualifies you for every job in the military. Once you get up into the 120 to 140 range, people start coming to ask you questions about stuff.
Okay.
Mine was high, but I had already joined the infantry, and so they tried to talk to me in basic about shit. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
So
like,
it's
I've already gone through all this at this point, and we're like about to do our field exercise and go to Honor Hill and get a fucking blue cord. I'm not gonna back out. I'm not gonna go do something else now.
Sure.
It's the beginning of Starship Troopers when they all take the tests.
Yep.
Really?
Similar.
Neil Patrick Harris gets put in military intelligence. Rico
Yeah.
gets,
NPH.
Rico gets put in mobile infantry, and Denise Richards gets put in the fleet.
Oh shit! So in this
Wow.
analog,
Give him a round of applause for that. I mean, that's just...
in this analog,
Thank you, Bob.
he's Rico and I'm Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay, perfect.
Not great.
I'm Pauly Shore.
It's not in that.
That's a
movie.
completely separate
No,
movie.
it's a military movie, though.
Oh yeah,
I kind of feel like...
what is that?
Kind of
In the Army now.
In the Army now.
comedic
yeah.
and fun and flirty, though. You
Yeah.
know, still wants to have a good time.
Yeah. Pauly Shore was a national treasure.
Sure was. R.I.P.
So anyway,
Still alive, yeah.
they took me to a skiff. They explained the job. A skiff is just a place to talk classified information. They explained the job. I started hearing the James Bond music. Little did I know this would have nothing to do with James Bond. But there was a clearance, and there was only one guy who could brief me. So went off to the military and got into first into electronic intelligence, which is radars, exploitation of radars, how to figure out where they are on the ground so you can brief a pilot and say, don't go this way if you don't want to get shot down. Did that stuff, and then the ground invasion happened, and got the first deployment out of the way, and then they switched. We were kind of like a Cold War army, and then and if this is not fruity, we can move on. If this is not
No.
for the picking.
Hey, here's why I'm asking, and this is, swear to God, this is dead honest statement for the audience here at home. If you're listening to the audio, we had Phil Labonte on. I think it was last week or the week before.
Yep.
Been friends with him for fucking 14 years. I had never asked him to be on the show as a total accident. I just assumed he was on because we hung out so much. Never asked him about it. So when we had him on, I said, you know what, Phil? Sometimes interviewers, and I hate it when they do this, and I was guilty of it, don't ask the questions of their friends because we've already been friends.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't know,
Yeah.
and it's a fuck up by me because you've been on a million times. I've never asked about your backstory, dude.
Yeah. So I joined the military, and when I was in there, we had the ground invasion, and then we kind of switched from a Cold War posture, which was like force on force. Like the military was built up at that point to confront other nation-state actors, but obviously it kind of pivoted to the GWAT, or the Global War on Terrorism. So then I retrained into communication intelligence and communication exploitation, which none of this is classified. You can look it up online. Just like how do you map and passively collect on enemy communication externals, figure out where they are on the ground, and then send guys to go kill them. So I did that, and then further, the Army evolved into computer network operations. So as smartphones became deployed and people started using them in the commercial market, we now couldn't just go after GSM handsets or handies. We had to go after smartphones. So that put me down a computer network operations route, where I started learning computer network operations. But computers is what I've been doing since I was a child. I got my first computer helping my mom clean houses. It was like a IBM 286 SX, and how can I overclock this thing? How can I increase the memory? How can I force it to run Windows 3.1? How can I do all these things? Because it was the only computer I had, and I wanted to get as much as I could out of it. So I already had an affinity for that, and I'd already kind of learned. I had this guy that ran a computer shop, and he started teaching me about like viruses and how
HIV.
That one too. He really showed me about that
You
one.
never beat it though.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, only poor people
For
die of
now.
AIDS now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that got me into like what the military would have called ethical hacking. But I was trying to hack at that time on like.
Are you a
dial-up.
CEH? Do you have the certification?
I did. Yeah. So
you have to renew every 2 years.
And I haven't renewed.
Yeah.
So I also did like all the Security Plus stuff and shit like that.
So for again, civilian here, for the audience, what were you hacking into at that point?
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
other modems, other networks, other routers.
And what were you able to find?
Not much.
Okay.
I mean, these were most of the ones that I was able to reach out and touch. And this is all illegal, so I don't know how much trouble I can get into.
Not now. The statute of limitations is up.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that time, it was like bank. In that area, the only places that had modems that I could discover, like when I was when I was crawling, were like modems at banks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And most of those were pretty secure, so I wasn't able to do much. But then I would actually work and try to get my computer. I got the first virus I got my computer was the Michelangelo virus, which is this one of these original worms.
I had that.
Yeah, and
It fucked up my whole computer.
yeah, but it fascinated me because I wanted to dive into how this all works and stuff like that. So when the military was realizing that now computers were being used by terrorists, they needed to stand up a cyber network operation, MOS. And there was a group of us who were like the first, you could call us the godfathers of like, here are the skills, here are the dependencies, here's what they need to know. But this was stuff that I had already came to the military baked in with. So, I learned and did all of that stuff. And then I submitted a warrant officer packet. And, I got recruited to submit a warrant officer packet. And at that time, I went into learning human intelligence. Human intelligence is the James Bond shit. So it's not James Bond shit. James Bond's a horrible spy, by the way.
I mean, if somebody knows your name, you're not good.
Yeah, you're not a good spy. If you walk into a casino and all the women know you, you're not a great spy. But anyway, then they teach you how to recruit sources and debrief and that type of stuff. And it's not sexy. It's not what you think it is. But
Did you enjoy it at the time?
I enjoyed learning like how to clandestinely recruit a source and like how to handle a source, and it actually up to that point I was talkative when it came to being a distraction. But if anyone wanted to have a real conversation, or if I was intimidated by anyone, I really wouldn't want to talk a lot. It kind of made me get over that because you have to be able to bump someone or figure out.
Bump someone means that you've got a target and you see them in public or whatever, and you sometimes literally bump. Actually, is where the phrase comes from. But you initiate a conversation
inadvertently.
Yeah, because we hear that all the time in TV shows, and we assume that it's like, to Dan's point, you'll see two people walking the street, they bump them, and then it's like, oh, I put something on you, or I took something from you, or
that's no. A bump is like you run into somebody and strike up a conversation about something, and they're not aware that you're trying to recruit them.
Yeah,
that's a bump.
So you've done it. You've got a target deck. You understand what this person is. We could use you for example.
Yeah,
let's just say you were a
gay prostitute.
Star kicker for the Arena League football.
Prostitute for Khomeini's son.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Am I on top?
Probably.
Thank you.
I mean, he seems like a
Give me
bottom.
some
He
respect.
seems like a bottom.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's say you also, from a previous marriage, when you were denying your carnal desires, had a daughter. Your daughter's got stage 3 cancer or something like that.
Okay.
And we do know that you went to the U.S. Embassy and you were worried about a school getting blown up, so you told the U.S. Embassy there was a school that was going to get blown up. That's usually how it works. You're just not going out and recruiting someone just off the street who you know has placement and access. There's a whole methodology to it where you need placement, access, and motivation, susceptibility, survivability, and access. So that's the whole metric of when you want to recruit someone.
And there's a primary and secondary as well. So you might not be able to get to the primary guy that has the access and placement, but you might be able to get to one of his friends or family members that have some of these issues that Bill's talking about. That's a secondary, right?
And that's motivation.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is for audience members that are at home who are stupid like me, is in like Lioness. You kind of see those.
I haven't seen that, but
it's those relationships where they're trying to make friends with other people through another friend.
I know what you know. I like what you like.
Yep.
And I have things that can help you on things I know about. But what you also want is you want someone who's you want to be able to say at some point this person displayed consciousness or conscientiousness or a willingness to help. You want someone who's, like I said, the precursor was you gave out some information that there was going to be a bombing at a school. You didn't want kids to die, so you told someone at the embassy. So then that would go from a debriefer. So the person you met at the embassy is a debriefer.
Okay.
And then that debriefer would go to a guy like in this job that I was training for and say, hey, we've got a guy who's got placement and access, and his motivation is we think we could use that his daughter's got cancer as motivation. So then I would go to you and say that you were really into the Spice Girls. And this is dumb, but I'm just going to use that. So I wear a Spice Girls t-shirt. Yep. I'm going to run into you at the Starbucks. We're going to be sitting by each other. I'm going to be reading a book about something that you like. You're going to notice me. I'm going to get up and walk by and say something like, I like your hard AF hat or whatever. And that might be the first time. That might be it. And then I'm going to wait for the next time that you're heading back to that coffee place, and I'm going to do the same thing. And now this time, I'm going to have a conversation with you. Because I've planted the seed.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I want you to eventually tell me that you've got a sick daughter.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me that
maybe you wait a week and be like,
Yeah.
hey, how's your day going? And you're like,
Yeah.
he usually they're not going to come out and just fucking empty onto you, but you just like, you know something already, so you pretend like you picked up on something, like what's
Sure.
going on? You seem like you're upset about something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and so then it goes from there to me, talking to you about your job, and there'll be a cycle there'll be an operations order that will get approved by what's called the J2X. The J2X is the guy who says you can or cannot recruit this person. They
2 is
usually-
intel.
Okay.
2 is
Right.
intel.
1's admin, 2 is intel,
and
so on and so forth.
And then X-ray is the human shop. So then it just becomes a process that we all agreed on what are the stepping stones to get you actually recruited. And 9 times out of 10, you will know that I'm an American agent and that I'm recruiting you to do work for the U.S. government, and that we're trading it for me to get your daughter cancer treatment, and for you to get. And when this is all over, I might say I'm going to get you and your daughter and your wife out of here, even though you really like Khomeini. You still love your family, so you want to get them out of here, and then we'll use that placement and access to get information and
Do you get them out of there?
do our thing. We always try to.
Okay.
It's one of the things that really pissed me off about pulling out of Afghanistan is that we actually left a lot of people behind that we said we were going to help, and that doesn't sound super bad, but the bad part is whenever we go to the next war and we start recruiting people, they're all going to point at Afghanistan and say, I'm not fucking helping you. I saw what happened last time. You guys left everyone behind or blah, 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 yakety schmackety. So that really hurts. You want to honor the best. There's only one lie in the human intelligence cycle, and the only lie is the lie that I maintain until I tell you that I'm an agent. That's the only lie. Otherwise, everything should be shrouded in truth, because truth is the best cover. And cover is, why I'm in an area or why I'm doing something. You don't want to use cover that needs to be explained away. It's just, I'm an American. I'm here working at this place. I do this thing. And my wife's back home and all of these things, and keep the true story, keep everything true, because when it's not true, it falls apart and it will hurt the recruitment cycle.
Live the legend,
Yeah,
as they say.
live the cover legend. And usually the cover legend should be as true as possible. So I'm not getting anything you couldn't pull out of a field operations manual.
Now, part of that was in, what's that fucking movie with Brad Pitt and Robert
Legends of the
Redford?
Fall.
Spy game.
Spy Game.
Spy Game.
He tells him, go. One of the things he does while he's recruiting or training him is he tells him to go fucking get information from this woman. And then he goes and does it. And he goes, what did you tell her to get that information? He tells it to him. He's like, you told her 3 lies that now have to be true if you're going to continue recruiting her.
Right.
That's
exactly.
not going to work.
Now
you can't live that.
You've fucked it up.
Yeah.
Next up,
It's a whole fucking cat and mouse game. It's it's one of the hopefully somebody will write a book on this at some point, but the way Israel is able to infiltrate specifically Iran, the way they're able to infiltrate them is fucking crazy to me. I have no idea how they're doing it.
well, the pagers and all that other shit.
No, forget about that.
No, I know.
I'm talking
got
about
a weird laundry list full of
I'm
shit.
talking about the high-placed human intelligence inside of the regime that they get is fucking crazy to me. The sources we've had at that level and an enemy like an inner circle enemy thing are so notable that there are books about them. And Israel just does that shit on a regular basis. I have no clue how.
Yeah.
Bill, this is a serious question, by the way.
Oh, okay.
When you're dating somebody, obviously you're married.
Yeah.
Do you use any of these tactics? Did you use any of these tactics to like get your wife or anything like that?
Not really. No, I mean, the truth is the best backstop, so I try to stay with that because I don't have to remember lies.
But then what happens when you guys are together and you're starting to get serious? Do you have to tell her about your background?
Well, I don't know how much I can get into this. Once marriage happens, the wives are they get information, but not
from
before
you or
that. No.
Oh, it's from somebody else.
They get debriefed by the unit. Yeah,
They'll get debriefed by the unit.
Yeah, but or the husbands.
Or the husbands, right?
Okay. Yeah, the reason I asked, I had a neighbor who was in your situation. I won't say where or who, and they had an unwritten rule and a thing and everything else. And I was like, man, I always wondered who told who in that relationship, and neither one of them were very talkative, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, so for all the wives out there who husbands are telling them themselves that they're spies, and that's why they're gone on the weekends, or they're answering phone calls from women at strange times, they're fucking liars.
No, he was honest about it.
No, I know, I'm just making
He
a
had to
joke.
go to this one place in Philadelphia, and it was like a small apartment, and it sucked, and he hated it, and he had a few drinks, and it was just like, God damn it, man, I've got to go there for like 2 months for this fucking thing or whatever, and they were hacking into something. And he's just like, man, I tell my wife, like, I wish you could come and see this because it's the most boring, monotonous fucking job of all time.
That's
Especially
true.
when you're just hacking, sitting in a goddamn room all
forget about
day.
that. Like doing any sort of pattern of life, whether it's digital or in person, pattern of life
Horrible.
is the gayest shit you can possibly imagine.
Static surveillance.
It sucks.
Like dynamic surveillance is okay, but static surveillance.
So he was right. It sucks.
It's awful.
It's the worst job in the world.
That's what he
You're-
said.
you
He
will
kept saying
sit-
that over and over again. He was
You'll
rich
sit for
though.
3 weeks
He had a lot of money.
to get one thing,
Ugh. Boy.
and you got to stay frosty the whole time, or you're gonna miss it.
Look,
Yep.
I need to know with no doubt that he's going to be in this place at this time in this constitution. I have to know that, and it takes weeks of watching to get that information. It just sucks.
And even worse when you're like training or developing or a source, making sure that they're doing what you told them to do is saving your life and saving their life, and that's fucking monotonous as fuck too.
Yeah, and he was one of those dudes who was always checked out in like real life conversations. And
That's a ruse. He's listening.
I don't know either way, but I could. It just felt like it was a miserable life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
like it really did.
Well, that
and
part of it is.
That
There's other
part's-
part. Once you start developing, and then it gets pretty interesting, I would imagine.
Yeah, so there's it's like the rest of the army actually, in that you do a bunch of cool training, you learn like what some people would call the dark arts, and you learn all kinds of cool shit, and then you never use it, and then there'll come a moment where you get to use it for about 38 seconds, and then you're sitting around
You
again,
feel alive again, and then it
you're
goes
done
away.
for the next year.
Yep.
It's like going to Iraq or Afghanistan, right? Like you'll sit around for 3 weeks working out and eating, and then there's an operation, and the operation happens, and everyone's rah-rah, sisumba, and then you go back to 4 or 5 weeks of waiting around. Now, that wasn't like that in 06, 07. We were running ops a lot and doing shit a lot. But like my 2008, my 2010, my 2013, 2015 deployments were very slow.
Because the next question in this, another thing he told me personally was that the amount of hacking that is going on against the United States on a daily basis is unstoppable,
Unfathomable.
Yes,
There's
and
like-
he
there's-
just said it's so relentless and nonstop that like if you don't have teams and divisions working on this all day long, he goes, it's the same people you're fighting and all this other shit, and you're trying to figure it out. And
Well, the last time I was even close to being involved in any of this stuff, it was something around 3,500 unique attacks per month from Russia, China alone. Not everybody else notwithstanding.
he said Iran was pretty good at it.
Iran's a proxy of China, so yeah, Iran actually has developed pretty decent EW tech in that regard. Yeah,
Just like
but-
they shoot Chinese and Russian missiles,
Yeah.
they shoot Chinese and Russian implants.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's 3,500 and like distinct attacks a month against government sites, against bank, against fucking research facilities, everything.
Everything across the board. And he said a lot of it was ransoms too, where they would ask for X amount of dollars. And you can answer this true or false. I'm not going to make you give up too much here. That you looked at the financial dollar and you were like, is this worth it to spend versus the budget we have and blah, blah, blah. And some of the times they would just pay it.
Sometimes it might be cheaper to pay it. I didn't deal with a lot of that. That's more like commercial tradecraft or commercial type of work there. Most of the stuff that I was involved in was nation state nation state and then unconventional force or like a terrorist force. So there wasn't a lot of the bribery stuff. Usually it was for effects.
Well, the problem was a lot of it. Man, he doesn't listen to the show, so he gives a fuck. It was in the banking system.
It's
And
huge.
that would affect all of America.
That was the first job I got offered when I got out of the military.
There you go. Fucking A.
Was working for a good friend of mine who was trained similar to me. He had the human intelligence, the CNO stuff, and the SIGINT stuff, and then he had 10 years of computer network operations experience. Got offered a killer job with Accenture right when he left the military, and he offered me the same job, but I just was not going to do that.
Okay.
Just not for me.
You were just burnt out on it at the time. What was the total years spent doing it?
Almost 22 years.
Whew. So you got retirement and all that stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what made you want to start Spartan Forge?
Well, all of the craziness around like 2016 and 2017 in the military with like all of the DEI shit and all of the woke bullshit, and we were still a nation at war, but we were saying like just ridiculous equal opportunity stuff that was happening. And I found myself getting in trouble because, we were off conducting war. Since I joined the military, we were at war. September 11th happened while I was in basic training. So my entire military career was war. And it was all dick jokes and gallows humor and whatever you had to do to let the pressure off in between shit when stuff was bad or good, for that matter. And we really didn't care about that type of stuff. As long as you weren't being mean-spirited or obviously sexually harassing someone. Mm-hmm. Like if you were just telling a dick joke, if there was a woman around, they'd be like, hey, dude, you made her uncomfortable. And then that was it. It was done. But it was getting to the point where people were losing their careers over stupid shit, like really dumb shit. And I would be getting talked down. We'd be in like an equal opportunity briefing or something, and I'd get talked down. Or I would say something like I would observe reality and try to elucidate somebody on this is not comporting with reality, what you're trying to get us to do. And I was advising an 06 and a 2-star general at the time. And I got pulled into an office like, hey, Chief, you're a senior officer in this, division. You can't be in the briefing like saying, there needs to be room for dick jokes and there needs to be room for gallows humor and stuff. And I was like, you're going to have a bunch of pent-up mofrackies that you're going to expect them to shoot a guy in the face on Wednesday and then think empathetically about the female HR woman on Monday, and you're not going to, there's no outcome where this is going to work. And I could just read the writing on the wall. So I thought I would stay in for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I really did. I didn't think I'd ever get out. I got to break shit for a living and have
And the
fun
job you
doing
were
it.
in, you would have been one of the mythical fives at some point.
I would have been a 5 at some point.
Yeah.
I was probably 3 or 4 years away from. I made
What is a 5?
A CW5 is like a unicorn.
They're just
A
the
Chief Warrant Officer 5. It's
very
like
rare type of personality in the military, and
What are they in
nobody
charge
fucks with
of?
them. Nothing.
They're a master. They're in charge of nothing, and they're a master of something.
Yeah.
Like they are the subject matter expert for a thing, and they don't take orders from fucking anybody.
But
Besides-
who goes to
Besides
them
their general.
for
Their
general, yeah.
answers? Yeah,
Everybody.
who is that?
Everyone.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Okay.
Anything that's going to get approved that has a technical nexus in the military organization, like a technical operation, a human intelligence operation, a SIGINT operation, that guy has to sign off on it before a general officer is going to sign off on it. Like the first question and I had a great general that I worked with and a great colonel, their question would always be, did Chief see this? So I'd have like majors and lieutenant colonels kissing my ass because they wanted me to approve their operation. And they knew the only person I answered to was the general. So, but there's a rank structure, and 5 is the top.
Okay.
And I was a 4. And
But
I
if
was
you're
also,
a 4, you're advising a 2-star, which is like a division commander, basically.
yeah, exactly. And
Like
so,
a full division, like 18 to 20,000 people.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at that point, where was I at there? What was I saying?
Well, no, but back to the 18 to 20,000 people. While you think about it, that's the size of Staples Center.
Yeah.
You fuck up a job like that,
Yeah.
you could kill a whole fucking arena full of people.
Yeah. And so as a CW4, I was also very young. I joined when I was 17. I was 36 or 37 at that point, and most of my counterparts were in their 50s. Like most warrant officers are in their 40s, late 40s to early 50s.
I would say the youngest you see as a CW1 is mid-30s.
Mid-30s, yeah.
be
So I was
honest.
already a 4.
Because usually they're like a staff sergeant before you even get
Yeah,
a chance
I was
to
a
go.
staff sergeant,
Yeah.
an enlisted
Okay.
guy before I was. And so I was by far like very young, just punching way above my weight class. And that was because we were a nation at war, and we promoted strictly on on how you performed. It's just if you're kicking the ass and doing the military gets very bureaucratic where people get promoted for dumb shit or because they were in the right place at the right time. At that point, especially in the units that I was running in, it was all performance based. It was all like if you're killing it and your language scores are good and you're doing your jobs and you're deploying and you're putting boot to ass, they will promote you. So anyway, I thought I'd stay in forever because I would have been a CW5 by the time I was 41 or 42. I would have had 20 more years that I could have been a CW5. I could have, if I had stayed on that trajectory, I could have gone quite high. But the DEI shit was hitting hard. And I thought for sure Biden was going to get reelected. And we
heard that from a lot of people, actually, during that time period.
It was so bad, dude. The chief of staff of the Army was telling the senior officers to read this book called White Rage.
Dan mentioned that book on the show during that time period.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the dumbest shit of all time.
So we would get notes from the general, and this would be like, here's what I'm reading, and that book would be at the top of the list.
Gosh.
And he would have to put it on there because the chief of staff of the Army, who he answers to, tells him to put it on there. And I would watch guys that were getting kicked out of the military for like very dumb shit, and just like you wouldn't believe it. Like somebody that we would have $10 or $15 million of training in would be kicked out of the military because he told a girl she had a nice ass at an airport.
Okay.
Something like that.
Right.
Or it might not be that, but it would be that plus one or two other things, and they were out. And
I would have to see the ass.
It's the way you say it, though.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
damn, that's a nice ass.
Hey, Shouty.
You're probably getting thrown out for that, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're gonna get that fixed, Bill. I know you're new here, but we've been having a problem.
So
Crickets
you asked me why Spartan Forge.
Yes.
And I had to tell that story because of this. I told Dan this I've told Dan this many times, but I think I said it today on the podcast when we did Citizen. Shout out Citizen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was getting really bad anxiety about getting out of the military because I was in a place where I didn't have to wear a uniform, could grow my beard. I was getting paid all kinds of special duty pay. I was making good money, going TDY, doing all of this stuff. And I was getting all of this to do exactly what I wanted to do, which was fuck up our enemies in cyberspace and on the non-traditional battlefield. Mm-hmm. And I was really good at my job. I really enjoyed doing it. I really loved it. And I knew that there was nothing. At that point, I was like, there's nothing for me on the outside that's going to do what this is doing for me. Like, I get to break shit and get paid for it, and it's legal. Like, shit I wanted to do when I was a kid, you know what I mean? I really got to do what I want. Like, if I got to write out what I wanted to do,
you lived it.
I got to do it for the last 10 years of my career. So I really was not sleeping. I had anxiety. I started drinking a lot. I was just really in the doldrums. And then I did a deployment. I don't remember. I think it was Iraq. And I was a big hunter at the time, and I just hadn't lashed the two things up. And I started having thoughts like, I'm doing this really what I'm doing is target development and common operation picture development for commanders to illustrate the battlefield to them in a way that is palatable and that they can metabolize. I could do this for hunters, and I really love hunting. Mm-hmm. And that was like the first time I remember, I was in the middle of a combat zone, and I actually started sleeping well because I was like, I could do this when I get out, and I would get the same type of meaning from it. It's different, but it's the same type of thing, which is there's a really intimate moment whenever you've been like tracking an animal or a deer or like the one big buck or the one big elk or whatever that you want to kill, and you're 15 yards away with it with a trad bow or with a compound bow, and it's the moment of truth. You get this like heightened sense of emotion. Everything focuses, the world, and it's very similar to combat in that way. The world just fades away, and all you're thinking about is the objective, and then your heart's racing, and you get yourself and you pull back and you shoot that animal, and then you're sitting around the fire with your buddies and you're eating backstraps and drinking beers, or you're with your family at a dinner table, or it's Sunday, and you're having backstraps from an animal that you killed, and you're providing for your family. And it's not providing in the sense where you're working a job and paying for groceries. That's laudable, like that's a good thing.
Sure.
But in this case, you went out and killed something, and you're enjoying it together, and there's a sense of tribe or meaning that you get from that was very similar to the sense of tribe and meaning that I got in the military. So I really started to feel a lot better about my exiting of the military. And then so I started building the app in my spare time, which is another thing I got in trouble for in the military. They launched a 15.6 because they thought I was making all kinds of money.
A 15.6 is an investigation.
Okay.
And
you're not allowed to have a side
it's just
job.
it's Army form or Army form
For the investigation.
15-6.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well,
they do
there's
that.
nuance here. I went to, because I follow the fucking rules, I went to the ethics office and I said, I want to start this side gig. Because I had like clearance and like I had to play by the rules. So I went to the ethics office and said, I want to start this side gig. And what they said back to me was, until it's making money, you don't have to do it. You don't have to actually file or do anything.
Okay.
The moment you start cashing checks, you need to come tell us before you cash the first check, and then there's all this paperwork that you have to do and blah, blah, blah. But until then, the Army will just see it as a hobby. So I do my regular job, excel at my job, then I go home at night and I start working on Spartan Forge, and this is like 2017. Some commander found out, and he added a bunch of shit to like a 15.6. It ended up going nowhere, and I got promoted right afterwards, so it didn't end up hurting me. But I could, again, see the writing on the wall. Like, we're shifting from a wartime army to a bureaucratic army, and it's time for the people that are going to distinguish themselves by how many people did you punish, how many rules did you write, how did you fluff your OER, your evaluation report, to get promoted. And it was no longer about combat effectiveness. So that's when I was like, it's time for me to go. Like, I dropped my paperwork right after that. Like I said, if I wanted to just do 20 and retire, I would have done it at 20.
Yeah.
I was almost at 22 years at this point, and I thought I was going to be in there forever. But anyway, retired, started Spartan Forge, and
What was the conversation like with your wife?
about Spartan Forge.
About starting your own business? Because this is a lot of fucking people's questions in the audience of like, dude, how do you tell your wife you're going to start your own business? It's after like a steady paycheck for years and years and years.
Yeah.
That's the hardest conversation that any man has to have with his wife.
So
Myself included.
We made an agreement. She was working for the FBI at the time. I had been working in the military, and I was retiring. And I told her, look, I need a year. If we don't see real legs in a year, I'll go take this $500,000 a year job with Accenture or whatever else. Just give me a year. And if I can prove something in the first year after military, we had a product before I got out of the military, which was just a desktop website. And we'd gotten like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers from that. And then by the time I was right before I retired, we actually dropped the app. And I think we had, by that point, we had gotten to like 15 or 20,000 subscribers in the first year.
Okay.
And, you know, that's a little under $1 million of revenue.
Yeah.
And we only had 3 employees. It was me and 2 other guys that I brought on right after I got out of the military. And so at that point, we sat down and looked at the books and said, okay, if I can keep scaling this, if I map a sigmoid curve and I say pour more gas on the fire will grow exponentially like this, and I could prove from the past 3 years, look, I've been putting gas on it like this, and it's doing this. It's like performance marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know my customer acquisition cost. I can go out and get a little bit of money. Even I started with a loan, and I can just pour this on the fire. And if the system keeps acting the same way, I could be here in 3 or 4 or 5 years. And you know, it's 5 years ago now, and I'm still here doing it. So.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And again, you would one of the dopest parties at the inauguration, and it was
Thank
a
you.
blast, and everything else. The app itself, tell people what that is and why it's so different than everything else.
I mean, there are mapping apps out there, even Google Maps. And hunters, and we talked about this again on Citizen, hunters have limited time these days, and they do want to get out and enjoy getting a field. But you can do a lot of research online with what's available through apps, through mapping. So instead of just the mapping, we do like LiDAR mapping. We have neural networks that can help teach you how to become a better hunter. We have neural networks that can tell you the best hunting times. We have this thing called LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging. So it's like using the principles of radar to use light to map the terrain so you can see stuff really close up. So if you're spending $20,000 on an elk tag and you're only going to be out there a week, you can spend 3 months beforehand learning the whole area that you're going to be in and where all the draws are and where all the things that drive animal movement. And then, we've got weather and predictive analytics and historical weather, historical imagery, so you can see how the land's changed over time. Basically, the competition at that time was a map called Onyx, which is still big, but all they were doing was mapping topo and weather and dropping pins. I wanted all of this other peripheral stuff, just like I would want for a battlefield commander. Like, I want every part of data that I can normalize and introduce into either a neural network or into a system that would do predictive analytics or just illustrate the nature of the data. And it was something that had a nexus or an association or was peripherally associated with animals that would inform the hunter better. It was the same thing I was doing in the military. So like, I'd be, for a military commander, I'd be getting them traffic patterns. I'd be getting them when are the cell phone networks the busiest? When are we doing this? When are we, like, what does the ground look like? I'd fly over in a helicopter or an airplane and get called what were called GRGs, and like the bad guys here, and here's the power structure was dynamic, so they've set up some new power lines here, so don't land the little birds here, and all of that stuff, right? Like getting way more information than what would be necessary to just conduct a military operation in order to buy down risk. I just took the same thing and applied it to hunters, because at the end of the day, all we really have is time. Time is the only thing we can't create more of, and so your days are numbered. So if you're going to spend money on a hunt with your family, or you want to spend money to put something on the table, or you're hunting just to get out and be alone, you can do some planning beforehand, and you don't have to say bye to your wife or kids more than you would want to, and you can do your planning, get out there, and you can buy down risk. You know where you're walking in the field, you know how you're getting out. So it's all of the same stuff. So I'm just super thankful that something like this dawned on me, and I was able to move into this. And I know, to get off the soapbox, the last thing I'll say is this shit's only possible in America.
Yes, you can't do this anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
And back to your theory about time, I've preached about that for years on this show. I knew it when I was 20. That's when literally the light bulb went on. I was like, oh shit, this is the one thing you cannot get back ever.
Yep.
Now, to that point, and with your app specifically, these hunts can be long. Our co-host on the NFL show, Derek Wolf, goes out on these fucking crazy 3-week hunts or whatever, and it's just like, hey, I get shit coverage, can't do the show today, whatever, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, man, is there not a system that can just kind of tell you where these are at? Because most people, he's a retired NFL player with millions of dollars, so it doesn't really matter, but most people have to go back to work.
Yeah, it depends on what you want out of the hunt. So there are certainly systems and types of hunts that you can pay for, where someone will just put you on the animals or tell you where the animals are, or you could fly a drone and map the animals if it's on your own preserve or something like that. I think a lot of people want the pursuit, or they want the pattern, they want the cat and mouse, because somewhere that wants the hunt, they want to go out and confront chaos and the unknown on their own, do something alone and unafraid, pluck a trophy out, bring it home. I would say, I'll put it this way: you haven't lived life unless you've mounted your wife on a bear rug of a bear that you killed in front of a fire in a cabin.
Yeah, reverse cowgirl. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
But let's say you're a corporate dude who's just like, yo, dude, I got 3 days.
Yeah.
And I want to fucking kill something and feel like a man, and then go home, and then go to my fucking job that pays me millions of dollars a year.
In that case, you can pay for it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep, for sure.
So there is that capability.
Yep, for sure.
And then the last thing I want to
I would guess Derek doesn't want that.
He does not.
Which is why
But I'm sure his
there.
wife does.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
His wife definitely does. That I can tell you.
Yeah.
So does everybody's wife.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, what are you doing for 3 weeks? I'm going to look for this elusive elk. Are you going to kill it, or are we going to have meat? I don't know. Yeah. It's a maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, there was a guy that we almost hired for Hardy F. Seltzer, tried to. Ended up taking a job in this, but he was specializing in drones that were heat-seeking for, like, missing kids.
Thermal drones,
Missing dogs, missing animals, things like that. Is that something you guys are into as well? So that way, let's say you got on the app and you were like, all right, I got 3 days.
Yeah.
But I want a high concentration of deer or elk or whatever in this one area. Boom, here's where I would go.
Well, that's dependent on your state regulations, whether or not you can do that. But what we are doing is, if you own your own farm or you own 4,000 acres of hunting land, you'll be able to fly a drone, and they're very easy to get and very cheap, and it will take imagery. It'll create geotiffs.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to drop those into our app and display them on our app and use it for scouting and that type of thing.
That's sweet.
That would be the most approved, like, ethical or legal way to do it right now. The thermal stuff, I'm not sure about Texas. I'm guessing if there is a place to get away with it, at least with pigs, I'm sure
This
you
was
can.
in, I want to say Alabama or Georgia at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I know in Texas you can use thermals to hunt pigs. It's all state by state. Like, some states just want you hunting and enjoying it. Other states will allow you to do a lot more. But also, things like pigs and deer become land management as well. If you have too many and you have crops you're trying to sell.
Texas, man.
then
Pigs.
you need to kill
pigs
them.
in Texas.
Yeah, you
They're
need
always
to kill
trying to
them.
kill those fucking things.
So it's not because you're hunting. It's because you're managing your land.
Right.
It's a different thing.
When are we going to start using suicide drones?
That would be sweet. It just
couldn't
blows
really
the deer's head off.
You couldn't eat them, though, if you did
Who
that.
fucking cares?
Well, if you're blowing the head off, all I want's the backstrap.
No.
Well, I
out
say
of the deer.
fly your freak flag. Go ahead and do it.
I think we make a suicide drone that throws like a det cord collar around the pig. It just lands on its back, and then throws a det cord collar around it, detonates, and it just severs the head clean.
Yes.
In all of
The rest of the
your
animal's intact.
In all of your travels, I'm sure you've seen people have
I've
their
seen
head
some
blown
wild stuff.
As a matter of fact, I guess this is the inverse, but people wearing S-vests, oftentimes the head stays intact and it just pops off the top of the body because of pressure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The ones that are, that when they're, especially when the person that made the S-vest is a fucking moron and had it detonate internally instead of externally, like they set the charge wrong. And if it blows internally, it just creates so much pressure that your head literally pops off and goes up into the air like that. Wow. It's almost like a fucking cartoon.
It'd be funny if that drone yelled at Lou Akbar.
Well, you
Great.
had wanted to. I don't know how that.
I want to hear that too. I want to hear the whole fucking thing. Yeah. Thank you. There you go.
I don't know if
I call it a
pigs
prayer.
do pigs feel the same about Muslims as Muslims feel about pigs.
It's a good question.
I hope so.
We need to interview somebody from the pig community.
Dan Hollaway with the tough questions.
I know. Could you imagine we set a pig in your chair?
We have.
Who?
Plenty of cops have been on the show. Come on.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Well, dude, congratulations on all your success. It's been awesome to watch and fun to watch. And since you're here and you know all the cool shit, I want to ask you about cool shit.
Oh, let's do it.
And fucked up shit here. Because I don't know if you've been following this, but a jury in Los Angeles today found that Meta, YouTube are negligent in social media addiction trial here. It's a landmark decision that's going to affect everything else. And then with AI, I'm sure you know that Sora shut down last night.
Yeah, I think it was a function of business and not of shutting down because it wasn't being
Well, they
used.
said they released a very terse statement. I looked through it last night to kind of get down to the basics of it, and they said
could be
basically, it was an exact number, so I don't know, and that's what I want to ask you about. This is a bunch of things, including this trial that just went down today. So we'll start with Sora that happened last night. With Sora, they said that they were spending $5.4 billion just because the energy and all the costs and all the people using the fucking app and all that other shit. And they're like, hey, this is not a fucking business, man, because we're losing $5.4 billion a year and we're not monetizing it.
Yeah.
Is that true, false, or are people kind of getting over AI? Is there an AI bubble out there?
Nobody's getting over AI. Yes, there's an AI bubble because a lot of retards are piggyback. Like, there's a lot of money going into it, and it's dumb money. A lot of dumb money.
I agree.
But the issue,
we sit in these meetings.
The issue is and always will be, in my opinion, for the foreseeable future, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is the ability to compute. And compute requires a fuck ton of energy. And it also requires a fuck ton of water and fresh water as well to keep it cool.
Yep.
That's a big problem.
That's the singular problem is getting more tensor processing units and GPUs to do the training, and those are very power hungry. And the real estate and Meta's even I think trying to come up with their own nuclear reactor to do this training because doing it through coal or oil or traditional energy is not going to cut it.
The problem is even for SMR, small modular reactors, which you can get up to 500 megawatts out of now, we only have the capacity to make 6 or 7 a year as a country, right now. We have, and this is an energy problem beyond AI. Even before AI boomed like this, we needed to build like 30 full-scale nuclear power plants in this country over the next 10 years. That's before all the AI needs.
I think Trump's trying to do that.
He's
right?
trying, yeah.
Yeah, because nuclear is clean, and we've all but perfected it, and it's only the term nuclear that's keeping people.
Turns out
It's the same as stem cells. People think they're scraping some fucking aborted fetus's skull out. No, they come from the umbilical cord of a baby that's already been born.
Yeah, and then on my side, like with Hard AF, like I could take, they always say that corn sugar fructose is like the death of everybody. I could distill that down to vapors, and it wouldn't even fucking do anything to you if I wanted to. But everybody's so used to the phrase that you're just like, holy shit, it'd make everything cheaper in life. But
Branding
nobody
matters.
knows it does.
Yeah.
So with this AI thing and Sora and all that other shit, I said that I think it's going to create a domino effect, and a lot of these VCs and all these other guys.
The money is too easy right now.
The money's dumb,
it's
too.
Dumb, and Dan and I sit in these fucking meetings with investors every day, trying to convince them to go with us in something a little bit more traditional versus that, because there's like a jillion people in the AI space. I don't know who's going to win, but it takes so many billions of dollars, as Sora just proved, $5.4 billion a year to keep this shit going because of how much energy it is.
Yeah,
the other weird thing, and maybe you can answer this question, is when I was first using it, I tried to adapt to it a long time ago. My computer, laptop, would get extremely hot. And then my phone. So once I got the app, I was using the phone. Phone would get really hot. Battery life would just zap right out of it anytime I use one of those apps to create those fucking videos.
I mean, I don't know about that because most of it
should be server-side.
The training should be server-side, so it shouldn't be fucking your computer up or your phone.
That's more so on Apple just not making good cooling products.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they suck. They don't care about like
All my shit is
heat
Apple,
at
by
all.
the way, so that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, but you know you got it right. It comes down to training data and power, are like the two things that people really need. I mean, I've heard people talk about this only in theory, but I think in the next 10 years we're going to have AI training in energy data centers in space. We'll just start doing it in space.
That's one of the reasons.
Really?
Yeah, Isaacman talked about it again yesterday. He didn't say this specifically, but Elon alludes to it, and they're best friends, kind of like he and Joe.
They're
Rogan are
alluding
best
to
friends.
it.
Yeah,
You're
Joe
alluding to it.
Rogan.
I'm saying it will happen.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we're rushing to get an actual base on the moon, right? Because this is what can happen. You can
moon specifically?
The moon, yes.
Okay.
You can send and we're talking about temperatures that keep it cool naturally, where there's no water needed and shit like that.
Yep.
All the training and all the integration and all that stuff can be done there with all the hardware, and it just sends. It's 275,000 miles away, traveling at the speed of light. The information comes back to us, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've got the Starlink ecosystem is already in space.
Correct.
And so there's a lot of stuff out there already. Like it sounds crazy. Like Dr.
People
Evil.
thought Elon was crazy what he was talking about, but this
no.
is like kind of just basic physics.
Yeah.
To be ability. The hard part is obviously putting all that shit on the moon and getting there and resolving
or into space.
resolving the problem of getting out of Earth's orbit and atmosphere is the real issue. Right?
There'll be
'Cause
smart people who will figure it
Yeah,
out.
it takes like what 200,000 pounds of liquid oxygen to get 25,000 miles per hour to
Yes.
escape our orbit, something
Propel-
like that.
propellant,
It's
yes.
a lot.
Also,
So
Dan, isn't there a bunch of helium on the moon too?
yeah, they've talked about mining helium.
Yeah,
on-
because long term that would be very beneficial to us. I mean,
Yeah.
we're seeing it right now with TSMC. They're having a big crunch down because
Yeah.
of all the shit in Iran, where most of the helium is created.
Yeah.
It's a pretty limited resource, so having more of that eventually, not near term, 10 years
Mm-hmm.
or so, but that could be another good use for the moon.
Now, are you talking about party balloons and helium,
Yes.
or okay?
Yes, the same helium that you to get
Just
a high
wanted
voice
to-
with.
to
It's
make
very
sure.
important to make
Good.
critical computer parts.
Because I want more party balloons. In
It's
the world.
it's helium-3, so it's a clean, highly efficient fuel for future nuclear fusion reactors.
oh, even better.
Yeah. Okay.
It has so the process of smashing two hydrogen atoms together is what makes the sun burn, and
All right.
what makes it burn a little bit hotter is smashing two helium atoms together. Or
Okay.
H3 is a helium atom with an extra proton, so it's going to be heavier as well, kind of like heavy water, which you need for a nuclear reactor.
Okay.
Yeah, it just makes sense. And with nuclear, you could even do it nuclear. You could even do nuclear up there, and supplement with solar, and do your training up there in a very cold environment, which wouldn't require size, weight, and power is what you have to think about with anything you're going to build. And you're knocking out. You're getting rid of size because it doesn't matter. You're getting rid of weight because it doesn't matter, and you have a source of power. So it makes sense pragmatically to me that it would work this way. I'm sure it's going to be a difficult thing to do, but I'm sure people like Elon will do it.
How far away? 10 years?
Less than 10 years.
Okay. Now I want to shift into this because since you were in intelligence, I wonder how much this comes into play. I was talking about this Meta YouTube lawsuit that they actually found in favor against these guys. A jury in Los Angeles determined that Meta and Google were negligent and failed to warn users of the dangers associated with using their platform in a high-profile social media case. And the first of its several trials taking place this year that experts have characterized the social media industry as a big tobacco moment.
Yeah, here's the problem. The same as big tobacco. They had internal meetings about it. They had studies done. They knew that it was damaging, and they didn't fucking tell people. You can have a product that damages people. All you got to do is put a fucking warning label on it. Cigarette smoking leads to cancer.
We have one on ours.
Fucking drinking. Don't drink while you're pregnant. What is it? Prop 50 for all the stuff that has cancer in it out in California. There's all sorts of different
So
fucking
we
things.
have a government warning on every single can.
All you
here at
have to
RDF.
do, even on your website, all you have to do if you're making major changes that might have a detrimental impact to people is 2 weeks before you implement the change, you have to put it on your website somewhere. That's the standard for notification is so fucking low the fact that none of these social media companies did it, they're going to lose every one of these cases.
Yeah, and the bigger problem here is, and I talked about this yesterday on St. Rogies.
Oh, your best friend?
St. Rogies of Austin.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, you're Joe Rogan, your best friend.
Yeah.
Is it Joseph or Joe? I don't know him
Joe.
that well.
He's not my best friend.
Okay.
Anyway, I tried to
I
talk
call him
about this
Joseph
yesterday.
'cause I don't know him.
And people we just need an informed body politic. What people need to know about social media, what people need to know about big compute and Google and Apple is the products they're selling you are not the products. You are the product. They want you to upload your photos to Google Photos so they can use them for training AI.
Okay.
They want you to solve the CAPTCHAs, not because it's a better password mechanism.
So when it says, check here, I am not a robot, what is that for?
No, it's not check here, I'm not a robot. It's
That's
click-
reCAPTCHA. That's something.
Oh,
entirely
you're talking
different.
about, hey, there's 3 bikes on
yes,
a road. Click the
bike
bikes.
that's
You're
got a
helping
red
train.
headlight or the traffic light.
What is that for?
Or the bus.
I've never
training convolutional neural
God
networks.
damn it, dude.
So
Yeah, that was never about security.
that was never about
Really?
security. No. They wanted
Fucking
humans
A,
to teach.
dude.
They needed a training data, which is what I alluded to before.
Yeah.
They needed the training data, and that's why they upload Google Photos. That's why Facebook allows you to. They spend so much money on storage for a free product. Why would you do that? Because you want the videos that people are uploading to train neural networks. They want the photos that you're uploading to Google Photos to train neural networks. They want you to use Face Unlock because it helps train their neural network.
They want you to use the quick line at the airport because it helps train the geometry engine behind facial recognition.
They all take a picture of you or
That's
try
why I
to at
say.
every single
That's why I
airport.
always say no.
Yeah.
I always
Even
say
though
no.
I'm
it's
like, you have my ID.
it's
Yeah.
it's meaningless to say no, but I'm just not going to participate.
Yeah,
to me
it is meaningless to say no, but
Yeah.
I don't want to participate.
That's it.
But you're the product, and so here's I can distill this down to my own business. I've gotten 3 offers in the last year. We have a very large email list because even if someone doesn't sign up when they do the trial, or we have hundreds of thousands of free users on our app. When they sign up, they give me an email.
Yeah.
A new business launches in the hunting space, and they want to go right into performance marketing. And what you have to do in performance marketing, which you guys know, but I'll tell everybody else, is if you don't have a built-in email list, you have to go out to Facebook, Meta, and Google and YouTube and spend the money to find out who's interested in your content.
Okay.
And when you do that, you establish a funnel. And then from that funnel, you get recognition, and then you get interest, and then you get potential conversion, and sale. Okay? That's a sales funnel. If you want to buy down the risk for your new product in the space, in the hunting space, you can just go to, like my competitors do it, and other competitors in the hunting space do it. They'll sell you the email list, and they pay way bigger money than you think for like 2 million emails.
No shit.
And they do that because they can start hitting you with emails, or they can target you through Facebook, and they can feed you the ads right away.
If it's a Gmail account, they can target you through everything that Google touches.
And everything that Facebook learns about you. So if you go into your Facebook profile, the reason Facebook exists is not to let you talk to your family members. The reason Facebook exists is to train neural networks and to find out what your proclivities are so they can effectively market to you.
Affinity-based marketing. So,
Okay.
like in the aggregate, a person of this age, sex, and class, and race, or whatever, however they want to categorize it, has an X% chance of being interested in this product or this field or whatever it is. And then when you start stacking things on top of each other, what are the for that it's called psychographic data, right? So for that individual person, what are the 5 most likely things they'll interact with? And if one of them's your product, you look at the second or whatever, something else in that top 5, and that's the crossover you go after. For example, booze and football are 1 and 2 on most people's lists in our age group.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, for us, over like 3 years, we spent about $6 million in performance marketing to just find out who the hunters are that we should advertise to.
Okay.
In order to get top of funnel metrics. In other words, these are people interested in hunting. So when a new company comes out and say they've got big money backing and they're selling a deer camera, they'll come to us, who are a deer hunting app or elk hunting app, and say, look, we'll give you, $2.5 million for your email list, or we'll give you $1.5 million for your email list. And it sounds crazy, but what they're doing is they've knocked their funnel down. So now everyone they're advertising to, because what they have to do in performance metrics, I'm sorry to bore people, but this is why this is so insidious. Because what they've done is they've given you free products where you're the product. so that they can sell advertising to other organizations so that the advertisers can pay less because they know everything about you. And you can see what Meta thinks about you. Meta can even you can even get Meta to tell you what your political affiliation is.
At this point, the things that they're serving me are things that I genuinely want to buy.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
I really want to buy these things.
There's a good part to that. And the good part to that is you're only going to get advertising that you're interested in.
That's what my wife loves about it.
Yeah.
She goes, hey, dude, I'm not seeing any other bullshit other than shit that I don't want.
But what has happened over 15 years is people didn't know that this was the game. And they've sacrificed pictures of their children, pictures of their family members, pictures of themselves, intimate moments and things to just train these neural networks. And their goal is to keep you on the device as much as possible so they can get as much quality advertising data as they can so that they can sell your information to other people. And it's insidious, but also it allows you to understand people to a degree. Like what you can do with Google AdSense, I can tell if I were to do it, and I don't do it anymore, but I could tell you where Dan's been, who he's talking to, what he's doing. All of his phone is linked up with a Google AdSense account. The amount and the specificity of data that you can get about a person, where the layperson, 95% of people have no idea that there's catalogs of data that is being stored about them.
I'm one of them. I had no idea.
That they are paying for, that companies are being paid to store so that they can do better advertising for people and companies.
Yeah, and unless you're willing to get rid of all of it, including the one that's in your car, if you own a car that's less than 10 years old, there's no point in trying to resist it, frankly. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know what you would even do.
I'm not saying resist. I'm saying know what you're giving up.
No, I know. So let's take today for me, for example, right? I got an email from the dealership where we got the car, and they knew the exact mileage, how low my oil was, everything else, blah, 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 blah. Hey, it looks like you're due for this, this, and this, and this. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for it. I don't fucking care. And also, I don't feel like driving to the goddamn dealership for any of this bullshit because I'm going to sit there for 4 hours.
Right.
I'd rather just go down the street for $50
and they're going to upsell you something else.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man, you wouldn't believe this. I know your car's only got 18,000 miles, but you should consider. And I'm like,
your flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an HVAC guy come this week because something was tripping my breaker and turning off the fan, and he told me all this stuff that was wrong with it, and here's like a couple of different options that I could use to fix it. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll think about it. And then it tripped again when he was gone, and I just went through some basic counter checkpoints to see what it could have been just using ChatGPT, and I fixed it myself. Right, and the lowest cost would have been $2,500 to fix it. The highest is like a completely new system, which obviously that's HVAC companies always try to say this stuff.
Dude.
Especially anything involving Carrier because it's a whole. It's like a
racket.
It's a cartel.
It's a fucking racket, dude.
In a space. But yeah, I was able to figure it out in like half an hour, maybe, what was really going on with it. And that's how it is, right? I mean,
but companies like my company, I always I put it on my Instagram all the time. We'll never sell your data. We're never going to sell your data. This will never be a vector for a nation state actor to hack us.
But how do they believe you?
Someone else. I mean, they have to just take me at my word, I suppose. But I mean,
it's Tommy Boy. You can put a label on the box so you can shove your head up a cow's ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is. But my company will never do it as long as I'm at the helm. But the other thing too is, if people knew this, then it could have been at an earlier state that other peripheral social media companies could have came up and said, look, we're going to charge you 99 cents a month to use this social media, and there will never be a data leak where China has a picture of you and every one of your family members, your social security number, your address, your proclivities, because that's another password thing. Have you ever done the password where they say, well, answer these 5 questions about yourself?
Yes.
And then if you forget your password, you can answer them.
Your dog's name, your street name you lived on.
Yeah, your favorite uncle growing up, your grandmother's maiden name,
yeah,
street you grew up on.
Yep.
All of that is more psychographic engineering.
Really?
It's not needed for. They could have the idea. The first paper on two-factor authentication was written 15 or 20 years ago. Two-factor is the way to do it, and that's the only way we do it, which is just
a text with like numbers.
Give us your phone number or an email that you already need to sign up for the account. Prove access to that email, and you can get back into your app.
Okay. Now, here's why this case, by the way, is going to completely change the world and social media as we speak. This was a girl They're not saying her name because she was younger at the time. They're just calling her Kaylee here. This is according to the LA Superior Court. The young woman was identified as Kaylee. Allegedly, she became addicted to apps like Instagram and YouTube as a child. Deliberations began on Friday, blah, blah, blah. Juries ultimately ruled in favor of the plaintiff, who claimed that Meta and YouTube's negligence played a substantial factor in causing mental health-related harms. Compensatory damages were assessed at $3 million. Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, was on the hook for 70%. YouTube is on the hook for the other 30 remaining percent. And now here's what's interesting.
That's because she's a woman, by the way. Whenever the first male case comes up, YouTube is going to be way more liable. 90% of YouTube is male.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the last part, which I find the most interesting. The next phase of the trial, set to begin shortly, will determine punitive damages. We all know that punitive is going to go way higher
It's
than
going to be
$3
higher
million.
than compensatory, yeah.
Now, this is one single girl in the United States.
Which will establish predicate.
It sure will.
Yeah.
And this is in Los Angeles. And let's face it, man, after this, because this just happened maybe an hour or two ago, how do you stop 100 million people from not filing lawsuits against all these goddamn social media apps?
And it is the biggest, I'm telling you, it is the biggest unforced error in corporate history.
By all these apps?
Because
all these social media apps?
All they had to do was, after they had that study, be like, you know what? People are already addicted to our product. They're not going to fucking stop. There's nothing that Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Twitter can say to their users that's going to stop their users from using that product. Nothing. Yep. Nothing will stop them. It isn't like cigarettes where there's going to be alternatives, right, at some point that come down the line. Yeah. There is no alternative to this.
No.
It is the way that people communicate now. It is a modality all its own. It's
almost a utility.
It is a one. It is a utility. It is a one-of-one product. All they had to do after that study, I think it was in 2015, maybe, I can't
2013, something like
that.
that.
Somewhere around there. All they had to do was say, "Hey, we had this study. It seems like you should use this product more responsibly because there's a danger." That's it. That's
they could
all
have
would
sent
have
an
to do.
email out and said, "Scroll to the bottom and check the box."
Yep.
That says you read this.
Just like the EULA. That's all they had to do.
That's all they had to do.
And they didn't do it for no fucking reason. I mean, how long? How South Park actually did a full episode on how nobody reads these things.
Oh, none of us.
It was the human centipede episode.
That's
right?
what I use large language models for. So I use large language models for terms of services. So before I download an app or I sign up for a service, I get the 40-page terms of service. I throw it into a large language model, and I have a pre-written prompt that says all the things I care about. And I just copy and paste the prompt into the LLM. And if it doesn't do what I don't like, then I don't sign up for it.
Well, and here's what her lawyer said outside of the court. Today's verdict is a historic moment for Kaylee and for hundreds of thousands of children and families who've been waiting for this day. She showed extraordinary courage bringing this case and telling her story in open court. A jury of Kaylee's peers heard the evidence, heard what Meta and YouTube knew and what they didn't know, and held them accountable for their conduct. And I can only imagine that there is a long line starting this afternoon outside of every lawyer's office who is waiting to file these
There'll be
suits.
emails getting sent out soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Or infomercials.
Group
you
on
ever
this
see
class
those?
action
Yeah.
lawsuit.
Asbestos? Were you affected by asbestos or Roundup? Call us and we'll do you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. In this next stage then, because there's going to be a wave of lawsuits, is it going to be a class action lawsuit where everybody gets $2?
Yeah, the courts will force them into a class action.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll have to.
But even with that, let's face it, these class action suits, you pay a few $1 billion and then you're out of there.
No, it'll be. I think this will be somewhere in like the 1 to 500 billion range,
which they can afford.
They can afford.
They can afford it.
But will this collapse any of these fucking companies?
No.
Okay.
Nope. No. It'll be just like the fucking pharmaceutical companies.
And right now it says there's New Mexico cases in New Mexico against TikTok and some other companies. And this was a 6-week trial and said that the algorithms and the autoplay, is that what contributed to Kaylee's crippling mental illness and distress?
I mean, what really contributed to it is that her parents suck.
Yeah.
And they didn't teach her how to discipline herself. That's what really did it.
Here's what they said. A 20-year-old woman alleged that she suffered from severe body dysmorphia, depression, suicidal thoughts due to her near constant use of the apps and the constant notifications that made her difficult for her to stop looking at the apps.
Say that again. Due to her constant use of the app.
Correct.
That is a choice she made.
I agree, but what do you tell a kid?
That'll limit. I mean, it doesn't matter if she's a kid or not. That's the parent's job. If
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It is the parent's job. However, there's going to be a fucking laundry list.
There will
of
be,
people
but I'm
signing
telling
up
you
for
that the
this.
payouts are going to be mitigated by the fact that people had to opt into it. So the fact that Meta and Google didn't warn people after they did the study, if they could prove ignorance, you would be talking about a very small issue at this point. They can't because they all went public, and as a result, all the shit they did with their public fucking money is part of the minutes. That's just the way it is, right? It's why I recommend not going public, actually. But once that information came out publicly, that they knew it was a risk and didn't tell people, that's what fucked them up. However, it is still an opt-in product, right? So the lawsuits from the tobacco industry are nothing compared to the amount of money they made.
Right.
It's nothing,
Right.
right?
Same with these guys.
Same thing with pharmaceutical industry, and it'll be the same thing with this because you have to opt into those products. The pharmaceutical industry has had a worse time than others, actually, because it's almost like, where else do I go for this? You know what I mean? But for social media or for booze or for tobacco or something like that, there's obvious additional options, right? One being not to engage at all.
Sure.
So you can't not engage in a public utility, though.
What I find interesting, because this trial was not televised, I knew that it was going on, but I didn't know the players in it. Mark Zuckerberg testified. Instagram head Adam Mosseri testified. YouTube Vice President of Engineering Christos Goudreau testified. And then Tim Cook was in there. So, they know what's coming down the... there's no way you get these guys in a fucking court unless they know what's going on down the line or potentially going on down the line here and how much money they stand to lose. So where does this all head then with one of those check marks that you said or a box or a warning label?
It depends on how
it?
it depends on how aggressive Congress gets, to be honest.
That's true.
The courts won't dictate it. It'll come down to Congress at some point, I think.
Okay.
That's where the 2018 regulations, like the privacy regulations, came from. The suit against YouTube Kids and the advertising they were doing, all this stuff came out of mostly out of Congress. Like, courts aren't going to be able to force specific, like a judge isn't going to say, okay, you're ruled liable, now you have to add this additional stuff on, right? That's just not how it works.
Okay. Interesting, man. Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on all this. And Bill, appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you're best friends with Joe Rogan, and you don't have time for us anymore.
Jeez,
it means a lot to us, dude, that you're here. It really does.
Oh, come on. I would if I ever live out here or wherever you guys are going to be next. I'd be here a lot. I'd be here so often.
Did you see the sign out?
Leave.
The sign out front. Yeah, it'll be shit by the summer. We'll know, I guess. I mean, the highway's right there, so it's whatever, man. That's serious. There's nothing we can do. It's a strange one. 11-lane highway's coming in here.
It's a big one.
No shit. You drove in on it.
Yeah.
From Rogan's, right?
Yep.
I know.
Not from Rogan's.
I know where he's at.
Oh, do you?
I sure do.
I've already forgotten. They Man in Black.
Bill, I know you have, okay? But you're also his best friend, and I'm sure you guys will be having bison tonight or something, and it's awesome. But you know the rules. This is the point of the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Drinkin' Bro of the Week. Let's go with Joe Rogan.
I knew it.
Let's go with Joe Rogan.
Give him a round of applause for Rogan. Yeah. Best friends with Joe Rogan, dude.
The greatest stories start and stop in the same place.
They sure do.
We started with Joe, and we ended
sure do, dude. God bless you. God bless you for that.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, Joseph Robinette Rogan. Is that it?
I don't know.
No, it's Biden.
Okay. I was unsure because I'm not.
Biden's Robin.
I'm not
Robinette.
Not Robinette.
Robinette.
Yes, I'm not friends with him like you are, so I don't know. No, is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
I don't know. No, not
Spartan Forge.
Spartan Forge, yeah. Spartan
Who
Forge.
helps you? Who helps you do that?
Oh, well, my co-founders, Jimmy
go.
and Vaughn, great guys. I won't say their last names. I don't know if they want me to. But those are the two first guys that I brought on, and after I knew I had something, and they've been with me ever since. And we've got 20-some employees now, but they're the reason I'm able to do what I do because in the beginning we all had to sit at a computer and at this point now, I have to be out here representing the product and letting people know what it's about and where we're going. And they continue to keep the home fires burning.
Yep.
And yeah, it's great.
We always need a backbone and a system in place there
Yes.
to deal with the rest of it.
They are certainly that.
And then tell everybody where they can find Spartan Forge.
In the App Store or at our website, spartanforge.ai.
Awesome.
And yeah, if you guys got questions about it, hit me on Instagram. I do 2 hours of customer service every morning.
Holy shit.
Yeah, myself. So if somebody's got a gripe with the app, it goes straight to me and I deal with them. And I just think it's important.
Yeah, of course. And as a friend, by the way, I saw your phone just going off the entire episode dude, with just Joe Rogan text.
I've got that. That is true.
I know.
My phone is
I know.
freaking.
I can see it over there, and I was just like, dude.
My phone has been exploding.
When other friends of ours have gone on, it's such a life changer that you're just like, holy shit. And it's people you haven't talked to in 20 years.
It is the new Johnny Carson. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 11 million downloads a day. I don't know any. You could take all of Fox's ratings and CNN's ratings in one day, 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
It's higher than all that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. So, but I'm proud of you. Congratulations. And
Thanks,
no, I
boss.
mean for real.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to get invited to, and it's strange, and then you do it, and then it blows up, and then it influences your company and everything else. He really is the white Oprah. There's nothing you can say about it.
That's a good one.
But thank you, man. We love you.
Love you guys.
And it's
Thanks
cool
for
when our
having me
friends
on.
succeed. Like, for real, if you don't root for your friends to succeed in life, you're a piece of shit. So couldn't be more happy for you and your wife and your company and all that other stuff.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Go to drinkinbros.com. We found out BroBox. We're getting one of those massive items back here. And it was something you guys have requested. It went out maybe a year and a half ago. And you're like, hey, if you ever do this again, please tell us what this is. I will confirm it to you. Go to drinkinbros.com and get the BroBox. All the shirts are up there. Boom. I got the Jack Hughes shirt on today, actually, on accident. Look at this. And tons of other fun stuff. Phone cases, Drinkin' Bros, Citizen, Crime Corner, all that other stuff on there. And the joggers are fucking badass. The Leering shirts are still doing well. And thank you for all the support, man. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. This show, since we're live on YouTube today, will be available video-wise on Spotify. And then, iTunes, I had a conversation with them yesterday. So videos will be available. I'd give it roughly 60 days here, and then videos will be up on iTunes as well. For D'Anthony Hollaway, Bill Thompson, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Podcast. Good night, everyone.